We are going to record this meeting for going over how to resize files for a project before you begin validation. Let's see. So first we want to check the all active submissions report for ICC.
I need to see your screen share.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could turn that on.
Thank you
There
very
it is.
much.
Okay, try that now. Okay, so we're running the all
Right.
active submissions report for ICC. And we see there are 963 approved PDFs, 4 incomplete uploads. So 963 is a good number. We're going to go ahead and save this report. Nope. Let's save as inventory. Okay, so we have a copy of the report saved. Go ahead and close that. We don't need Acrobat open right now. What we do need is we need to be in the invalidation folder on WIP. So we're going to come over here, WIP validation in for ICC, and we want to run a search, and the search is called *.pdf. This will get all the PDFs. So if you don't want to get PDFs that may be in the source folder or in a zip, you want to type PID *.pdf. So now it's going to get everything that begins with PID and everything that ends with .pdf. It has to have both of those. If it doesn't start with PID and it doesn't end with PDF, it's not going to grab it in this list. So we see that we have more matches. Let's see. There's a lot more matches than we need, and that's okay. Oops, excuse me. We're going to go folder. Switch that. Okay. So you see how this folder is named? It's in the source folder.
Right.
Okay. So we don't want those. And those are all source. Okay. So starting here, I can see that these are lowercase .pdf, which means they are not source uploads. And I can see that they are in WIP validation in ICC, and the folder that they're located in is the PID number without it having source appended to it. So I know that these are the actual files that I want to grab. Okay. And I don't want to grab these guys. Okay, we can see that they are not the files, even though it starts with PID and it does have PDF in it. I don't want these. These are DVI PDF MX files. They're LaTeX files. So right now I have 964 files selected, which there's only 963 approved, which tells me we have one extra file. Okay, that means that a file was approved and moved to validation and then possibly deleted after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these guys. I'm going to go over to source for ICC. I'm going to make a folder named PDFs. And I'm going to drop all of these in there. Normally I don't have a mismatch on PID count. So this is good because then I can show you what to do if you do have a mismatch.
Okay.
Okay, the easiest way to find out what file doesn't belong in here. First, I'm going to copy the address where these files live. I'm going to open a command window. I'm going to switch my directory, so I need to be on source, which is V. And then I'm going to change my directory. That's what CD stands for. I'm going to paste in this address, hit enter, and now I can see that the command window is pointing to this folder right here. Then what you want to tell it is dir for directory. We're doing a directory listing. A, B, on. And then I'm going to paste that address again. I'm going to do a forward or backslash, and I'm going to say inventory. You can say whatever you want for the name, inventory.txt. Okay. And now we can see that there's a file here. This file lists all the PIN numbers that are in this folder. Let's save that really quick. If I didn't do this extra AB on, if I just did directory on, and then I pasted in that, and I did inventory2.txt, it would look a lot different. So this gives me way more information that I don't need. It tells me the date that these files were created. It tells me the file size. So all of this is extra information that we don't need right now. It'll tell me how many files. It'll tell me how many bytes are in there. Okay, so we don't need that. That's why, excuse me, let me see, don't save. That's why we do basically the command changing to AB on strips out, and it only gives you just the PIDs. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to go into my inventory folder, and I want to look at this report, right? Because we already took a copy of this from the website.
Right.
So I'm going to take you can take this from, you can actually open up a report again, or you can take it from this report, the saved report. So I'm going to open up Excel. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to paste the report in here. Just like we would do with inventory. I'm going to do an inventory check.
Right.
So strip out all this information. Delete. Go to the bottom, check. We have 700 and where are all the records? This is not all the records. Hold on, what happened here? That's not where I want to go. Okay, let's run the report again. I'm not sure if I just didn't grab everything. All active submissions, ICC. 963 listed. I'm going to resave it, just in case I somehow didn't save a good copy. And that's the one from earlier. Yes. Okay, and then I'm going to copy all of this from the actual web page. I'm going to just delete this. Paste. Okay, and we can see that there are no withdrawn papers, which means that there shouldn't, all of the statuses should be approved for the files that we're seeing here. So we're going to do a check really quick on that. We're going to check status. And we're going to turn cell color on. Okay. Sometimes there's these weird blank rows at the end. Just get rid of it. Delete. So everything looks approved. Just make sure we have 963 rows. We should have 964 rows because there's a header row. Yeah. So this number, 963, 964, that
Right.
makes sense. Everything is approved. So then what we want to do is we want to take this inventory file. And do you see on the report how it doesn't have PID or .pdf?
Right.
Okay, so if I open this in Ultra Edit instead of Notepad, I can take those out. So we turn our column mode on, delete that, go to the end, delete that. Now we just have the numbers. Let me say copy that, go back to our worksheet, and I will put this from PDF folder inventory. So now we want to do a match on our PIDs. And then the easiest thing to do is just sort this. We want to sort it on cell color. We want no color to move to the top. Okay, so there is this file. This file is in our folder. Let's find out what the status of it is. Look, it's deleted.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to come back to here, and I'm going to do a find on this, and I'm going to go ahead and delete it out of this folder. And then I'm going to go to WIP, and I'm going to find this folder. And I'm going to delete it because it doesn't belong here. It's a deleted. We don't need it. Okay, so now if I was to redo the search on this whole folder and do pidstar.pdf, change our folder view. Okay, starting from here, you can't control end because there are other documents in here that you don't want to grab. Oops. So why are those in the middle? Okay, let's switch that again. So I'm just holding down the shift key and doing a page up to select all these guys. Oops. That's weird. I don't know why that one section, why this is coming here. So then we want to hold Control to select here, and then Shift to go up again. Oh, because those are in the source folders. Okay, I think I'm just. Yeah. Now that's 963 showing.
963.
Because we deleted the one that shouldn't have been in there. Okay.
Right.
So now we know in this folder, we don't need that inventory folder anymore. Now we have 963, and that's exactly what we want. So I will write down here, we are processing 963, just to keep an eye on things. I'm going to cut these. Yeah, I can copy them. I'm going to copy these just in case. I'm going to authrev on Stagecoach. I'm going to preflight. The first thing you do is you always check the out folder. Make sure somebody didn't leave folder files hanging around. So there's nothing in A4 original or cropped, failed, or letter original. Logs don't matter, but letter original, A4, A4 originals, and cropped. You want to make sure nothing's in those folders. Once you verify that those folders are empty, you go to the end folder, flag A4 and crop. You paste everybody in here. And I can close these other windows while we're waiting. Nope. So this is going to process, and in the meantime, what I want to do, I don't need this anymore. No need to save it. So I'm going to go back to ICC, and I want to look at the project plan. Barbara's delivering raw PDFs today, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it. Site cleanup, we just did that. Okay. I'm going to put BJD 218, oops, 216, 18, one time. We're not doing inventory yet because inventory happens when we get paper order.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Yep.
Resizing A4s, yep. Doing that today, 216. And I can't put how many yet because I don't know. So we're just going to wait.
Right.
So, but this is what I do when I'm waiting for other things to happen is I start coming in here and filling out things that I know I can do. Pre-flighting non-FCA, which means file collection papers, or late or otherwise, cannot be answered until the end because we don't know. Fixing non-compliant PDFs, we don't know right now. Withdrawing papers happens after we've started a project when paper order comes in and a file needs to be removed or set to pulled. It's considered the 76 in this status, but you do that through Quantum, of course, not through the FP or Get PID info window. And when it's withdrawn, we count them here and we list them on the open issues because they get charged for those. 75s or just regular deletes don't get charged. Okay. Now let's see how many papers we've got through. So we are down to 512, waiting for them to process. So it goes pretty fast. But there are, of course, a lot of papers for this project.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, in this folder that we created called PDFs, we want to create two new folders. One is called A4 cropped, and that's going to be our new files for the cropped ones. Another one is called A4 original. We do not need to keep an extra copy of the letter size PDFs on source. We do need to keep a copy of the cropped and the A4 originals, and that's because if you are doing QA on a cropped paper and you notice that the cropping caused a problem, like the text is just incredibly off and you want to recrop it, you would come back to these folders to grab the original PDF.
All right.
Okay, so these are going. You will have to create a batch file to move once this is all done. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new empty spreadsheet. And we need to know the location of where the files will move back to. So the files that get cropped and need to go back onto WIP are going to need to know where to go. So I grab this first and slash. And I don't know how many rows I need yet, so I'm just going to leave it like that. That's just the address I know I need to have. Okay, so we're almost done, 159.
Oh, so you just can't cut these once they're in the out folder of pre-flight.
Yeah.
You've got the ones that are cropped. You can't just cut them and put them back into the folder on WIP, the new folders that you just created.
Well, the folders I created are not on WIP, they're on source.
They're on source.
Okay. And this is going to have all the PDFs that we are dealing with that are cropped.
Right.
The thing is that when you're on WIP, each file has an individual folder.
Right.
So you cannot just drop these cropped papers wherever you want. They have to be moved back into their folder. So
Right.
that's what the batch file will do. So once
Right.
these are done,
Okay.
we go into the out folder and we see how many letter originals. 858. Okay, so then get your calculator and we say 858. How many A4 originals? Oh, sorry, this folder, A4 originals. 105. So plus 105 equals 963. And that was the number we wrote down earlier. So we know we have the right amount of
Right.
files processed. We didn't lose anything in there.
Between the two.
Right.
Right.
So these letter originals just get deleted. We don't need them. They already live on WIP.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to come back to the source folder that we created, and I'm going to remove all of these files. Because we processed correctly, we don't need an extra copy of them there. What I do need is A4 originals. So I'm going to take these files, 105, that are in the originals folder. I'm going to cut them from Stagecoach, and I'm going to paste them into the folder on source. And then I'm going to come to the cropped folder. There should be 105. I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to move them to the A4 cropped folder. Okay. Now that I have numbers, I know there's 105, right? I'm actually going to need to do command window again. And this time I'm going to tell it I'm on source. And I want an inventory of these cropped. So I need to change my directory. And I want to know how many files, or what the file names are for the cropped files. So I'm going to say inv crop.text. Okay, so here's at the top I should have my text file. I'm going to open this up in Ultra Edit. Remove the first line because it just tells you the name of the text file. Remove the last line. There's my 105 files. So with this, I know I need 105 rows that say this. So I'm going to copy this. This is the fastest way to do this part. Oop, 105. Paste it. Copy this. So we're going to make a batch file that moves files. So first I need to turn column mode on. And then I'm going to hold down the shift key and hit page down. And I'm going to say move, space, come back up to the top. I'm going to paste in that line with all of the directory. Okay, so I want to move this file into this folder, but I need to tell it specifically the folder name that lives on ICC. So to do that, I grab the middle here because these are the names of the file folders. I copy them and I paste it to the end of the line. And I do this next part because I just want to make sure it really does move the right files. So I'll say / and then I'm going to copy these PID numbers again. Copy it, go to the end. Okay, so we are making a batch file. We're going to move this PID number into this new folder. And I don't need to tell it where this PID lives because I'm going to save it to the folder where the PID lives, right? So here's the A4 cropped folder, ICC PDFs, A4 cropped. That's where I'm going to save this. I'm going to rename it to move resized to WIP. .bat. Okay. Now I'm going to close this. If I want to be able to keep this window open, I can run this. Because I'm already in this folder, I can just tell this, like easily copy this or type it, paste. If I hit enter, it's going to run that file. But if you just click on the .bat file, it'll do the same thing, but then the command window closes and you can't see, like if you wanted to look at it and look to make sure nothing was a mistake, You don't really need to because we know that these are the files that are moved. So now if I did a search on pid.pdf in this folder, and I want to do by date modified, I should have 105 files that were modified today, right? Because that's the date that we are doing. Yeah. Yep. So if I go page down until I see a different date, I have 105 files that are dated as of today at 9:19, because that's the time that the resize happened.
Right.
And if I was to open one of these, I can see that my page size is 8.27 by 11, which is what we're looking for on a resized A4 paper. So we know that we moved them back correctly, that they live in the right folder locations.
Okay. Wow.
And that this part is done. So this, you never leave a bat file named bat. You have to change them to a text file so that somebody doesn't accidentally click on it.
Right. I've seen you do that a few times after using a bat. You'll
Right.
change that extension. Okay.
One thing I didn't do, and that's because I'm silly, I moved them, but usually I keep a copy of the cropped ones in here. I should have done it. I should have made this file, I should have made it a copy, not a move. But if I wanted to fix that, what I could do, since we already know we can find them again by date modified. And if we say date modified for today, there's my 104, 105. Okay, I'm going to copy these and put them back into this folder. And I'm going to show you how to change your move. So to change this, I would come back into Ultra Edit, and instead of saying it's a move, because we really wanted to copy them, I would delete this part, backspace, and then I would type in copy instead. So now if I run this, it's okay to do this again because we're gonna, I'm gonna rename it to bat. And all it did was just remove these all again. They're not going to change in date modified because we didn't modify them anymore. But they didn't move out of this folder this time. They stayed here.
Right. It was just a copy.
Right. So I'm going to change that to a text file. I'm going to cut both of these files out and put them into the inventory folder in case anybody needs to know what we did. I like to clean them up. There we go. Okay. So these two files are no longer, this is no longer an active move. It's not a bat anymore. It's a text file. So you can look at it without accidentally moving again. And because we didn't tell the directory, we didn't put a directory here in front of PID for the first, if you don't have this file in the folder where the files live, it's not going to do anything, even if it was a bat file. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Okay. Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be able to find it. It'd be like, I don't know where that lives.
Right.
I don't see it here. Okay. So then I think I left ICC turned on because I was showing Barb how to do QA yesterday. Yep, ICC is turned on. She's delivering the raw PDFs today. Let's find out if she did that yet. I'm back. Let's see. On Layla. Okay, no. I'm waiting for her to, I want her to deliver the raw. She's got that automatic zipping. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that so that, okay, that, because I was reviewing work instructions and just reviewing everything that me and you've gone through over go-to meetings.
Okay, hold on one second.
Taking notes.
Pause.